Hey guys, so I'm here with Han. Han is a member of our leadership team. He's one of our reboot strategists. And I just decided to record a conversation that I really wanted to have with him. Welcome, Han.
Guys. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so where are you at right now?
Right now, I'm in Medellin, Colombia.
Okay. Now, as those of you who are watching or listening to this, you can tell that Han has an Australian accent. I know most Americans can't tell the difference between Australian, New Zealand, South African, and a British accent because we're idiots. But how are you all the way in Colombia?
How am I all the way here?
Yeah, dude.
That's when I made the decision to end a 6-year relationship. And then from there, I felt, well, if I can work anywhere in the world, why not? I work in the world, in the country where there's the most beautiful food and beautiful women and great
Okay.
environment.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pause you there because this is a great intro. And I'm glad I asked the question because it tells us a few things about Han. So, for those of you listening, the reason I'm speaking with Han is prior to this, we were having a meeting. And I told him that for all the, how many years have you worked with us, Han?
6.
Okay. So, for 6 years, I've never interviewed him. And bro he's amazing. He's done what you've done, like what, $3 million in business.
Yeah.
Like he's a very successful guy. He's run a restaurant, all those good things. But I want you guys to hear a very candid story as I talk with him. I don't know where this is going to lead. Of somebody who's rebooted, but also of somebody who's very human and still going through the process, and just get a feel of what it's like for somebody who's on the same mission that I'm on in a very genuine way. And I think Han is a very different person from me, but we do have some things in common. So that's the purpose of this. So Han, you mentioned beautiful women. You
Yep.
mentioned beautiful food. I know
Mhm.
you're passionate about both of those things. So tell us about, I'm going to start with the relationship side of things, okay?
Yeah.
Instead of starting with where, how you raised everything. So you were in a relationship, things changed, and you moved to Colombia. As a rebooted man, what happened? What were the realizations you came to in your relationship? And what made you make such a drastic change? At what age did you make this change?
The move or the ending the relationship?
Both. The move
Uh,
was what age?
The move was I think 2 years ago. It
Okay.
started
How old
off
were you?
going to America and then Mexico, a bit of Europe, and then Colombia. How old was I? I think 34.
Ooh, okay. So these are big changes. What happened?
My ex was bringing a lot of the stress from her work to home. Everything that came out of her mouth was negative. There was nothing good that she ever said about me. I was like, tell me one good thing that you like about me. There was nothing. So I think I reached a point where the relationship got a little toxic. I kind of lost myself. She was putting me in a box. I couldn't use my hands to talk. I had to talk very quietly.
Wait, wait,
Uh,
wait, wait, wait. You said the relationship got toxic. You couldn't use your hands to talk, like you couldn't gesture while speaking to
yeah, I
her.
couldn't
Why? She thought it
gesture.
was like what, aggressive?
She just felt that it was grabbing too much attention because she's very conservative. And yeah, there's a lot of things she just would rather not me do and
How
stopped
long
me.
did you? That's crazy, man. Because knowing you and how freely you live your life right now, like you go wherever you want, you date whoever you want, you make, like you're a very independent guy. Anybody meeting you now would be shocked to hear any of these things, right? And that was 2 years ago. So
3 years ago.
3 years
Yeah.
ago. So I mean, how? how long did you live with this, and how did you put up with that, dude? Somebody telling you like, hey, you need to speak quietly, you can't speak with your hands, would seem insane to most people.
I think you get to the point where you think, I guess this is love. And then you accept, as they call it, death by a thousand cuts, right? And you just accept one thing, you accept another thing, and then you realize that you've accepted so many things that you're not yourself anymore. And even when your friends say, hey, like you're not the same person I know anymore, like you don't see it yourself because you're already so deep in the trench until one day you just realize you're deserving of more and that this is not life, this is not marriage, this is not what a relationship is. Mm.
You said, first of all, you said, I guess you think like this is love. Did you love her in retrospect?
I did. I think I did.
Yeah.
I think I saw the wife qualities, but
Okay.
I wasn't focused on compatibility. Because growing up,
Mm.
our parents would say, hey, look for these kind of characteristics. And I saw, okay, she tick, 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 right? Soft-spoken, virgin, right? Any guy would have been like, this is it. She's the
Wifey
one.
material. Yeah.
Wife material. But she had, I mean, she's a great person, but she had really bad temper. And I saw that if my kids were learning that kind of temper, and I think this would be a very happy household. So yeah.
Wow. This is very interesting because I think we also live in a time where there's this message going out to men that you want to find a more traditional woman, right?
Mhm,
Like there are a lot
mhm,
of women on the streets you can date, a lot of women with a high body count, and the ideal is to find like a virgin might be a little bit
mhm.
extreme, but
Yeah,
still a virgin, a person who's close to family,
yeah.
better still, maybe even close to your family. That would be even better. So
Mhm,
now you have the security. She's going to take care of mom and dad if anything happens to me. But you're saying you found all of these things and you loved this person, or you think you did,
mhm,
yet you guys were not compatible.
mhm.
How did you find out you were not compatible aside of like was there an event that like made you realize, or was this something that kind of slowly happened? You began to question your relationship.
Mostly how we handle problems. She's
Hmm.
a lot more emotional. And when she's angry, she's a lot more outspoken. I'm more, I process it, use the coping strategies, and I'm pretty calm. And
Yeah.
so when she noticed I was calm, she'd like keep poking to get a reaction out of me. And then I realized, I think in my fifth year, I realized this is not healthy. Like she would drive me to the point where I would break my character. And there was like a lot of responses, right? We don't notice that our body is telling us signals. Like there was like so much tension in my neck all the time, back problems, gaining of weight,
Hmm.
just a lot of things. And I just thought, oh, okay, maybe it's just my diet or my physical activity. But we don't realize that if you're with the wrong woman, all these problems can come out.
That is
And
so interesting,
yeah.
man. Like you're saying like you were having like there are physical signs of the stress and the strong emotions you're like
Mhm.
repressing or dealing with in a
Mm.
relationship.
Yeah, my throat, my stomach, my shoulder blade. Yeah, they're all telling me signs.
Yo, this is so crazy. Like right before this, guys, Han and I were talking about my health as well. And I was sharing that I had some kidney markers that were a little bit off. And it was because of like my high blood pressure. And I wasn't even aware that my blood pressure was like that. But in retrospect too, Han, like there were signs that my blood pressure was high, but you just ignore these things, right? You always think like it's probably like I'm not stretching enough, or I'm sitting at the desk too long, or I
Mhm.
should work out more. I think that's very interesting. So would you say that during this time, I know you also, in addition to working with us, you were also a chef, right?
Hmm.
So you were a chef, you had your restaurant,
Hmm.
and you also worked with men in this program. Was
Mm.
there anything that was happening with you in the program? And I'm not trying to lead you, I'm actually genuinely curious. You were talking to a lot of men at this point who were dealing with their own problems. I mean, you had to be a role model to them because you know
Mm.
in our program you can't just show up and be a sales guy. You're a strategist, which means you're genuinely listening to them, spending hours with them. Did this have any impact on the way you viewed yourself or your relationship?
Absolutely. There were so many guys in the same situation.
In
Like
the
I was,
same situation.
yeah, like in a toxic relationship.
Huh.
They're so in like trenched in that they forget their self-worth. And through these conversations with other men, I realized I was not walking the talk. I was not leading myself. Mm. And then several years went by. I know we always tell men to take action immediately, but I think after several years, I realized that things have to change. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, I think I'd mentioned it maybe 2 years ago that it takes the typical guy about 5 years, not that you're not a typical guy, about 5 years from the time you hear
Yeah.
about a problem, especially something like pornography addiction, to the time you decide to take action. And for some who are maybe a little bit more growth oriented, it might take like 3 or 2.5 years. But,
Mm.
gentlemen, those of you listening, just be aware that there's nothing wrong with that. You just want to be aware that, hey, maybe I can shorten the timeline of dealing with
Mm.
this. So you're
Mhm.
saying a lot of guys were in these relationships. So how did you get out of this? You now realize this, like, damn, I'm like these guys. How did you get out? Because listen, I've been in a relationship for 16 and a half years, dude. And there have been ups and downs. There have
Yep.
been downs where I've questioned the relationship, she's questioned it. And when you meet, and my partner is perfect. Like,
Mm.
she's I'm half Asian, she's half Asian. And so the family part of our lives are very important.
Mm.
Like that
Mhm.
compatibility, that respect, that appreciation of the culture, of the food. She had it all.
Mm.
And I can't imagine, dude. I know how difficult it's been for me. So how did you break out? And you gotta tell me the truth.
First, I think the hardest thing is realizing that I was staying because of what others would think. I was
Mm,
staying in the relationship because I was concerned what her parents would think, what my parents would say, how the world would view me if I, a divorced man or a broken marriage.
mm,
Concerns that will I find another great woman
mm.
once I come out of this one? What do I do
Yeah.
with the house? What do I do with the car, the assets, and everything? And so it wasn't until I think, I had a conversation with you that you said you're not responsible for anyone's happiness except for yours. And I think that really turned things around. And speaking to, different coaches, getting different opinions, speaking to other divorced guys. And then I had to eventually make that choice. Eventually. I think it took a few months. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I remember us having some conversations and me checking in with you to see if you were okay. That's crazy. So you're living in Australia, you're married, you're going through the divorce process. So what do you do? Because your life is so different. You had a home, you had a car, you had a wife, you had a life, you both parents, you're in your
Hmm.
30s. Being Asian, you're probably getting the pressure to like, why haven't you had kids yet? Something
Yeah.
wrong. Now, how do you end up in Colombia, like with all these beautiful women around you? Like how does your life change? Because most guys would break up, they'd stay in their city,
That's true. Yeah.
they would maybe change a job or something, and they would start dating again. But you didn't do that, dude. You just flipped your life. How? And just before you share this, for those of you guys listening, I'm actually genuinely interested because I've seen Han do these things, and I encourage men to do it. But I want you guys to hear how he did it. And I'm a little bit nervous too, because I don't know if he's going to share something I would recommend. But again, I told him I want this to be as candid and raw as possible so that guys can see the way that it's done. And you guys also, just so you know, under this podcast episode, there's going to be a link to Han's calendar. I mean, respect his time. There's no fee to speak to him. But after this, if you're like, damn, that's crazy. I need to talk to, I'm going through like a tough spot like Han was. I need to talk to a guy who's been through it, right? So, Han,
Mm.
how did you end up all the way in Colombia? How did you make that transition to the life you have now, rather?
Whew. I think I realized that I've been blessed to be given a second chance to live in life. And
Okay,
when
wait,
I
wait, wait,
had,
wait, wait. I gotta be devil's advocate, man. I don't want you to say some like stuff that sounds good.
okay,
Like,
yeah.
do you just realize that you were blessed to like, like to
And I realized
how did
like
you come to that realization? Yeah.
because how many men get to restart their life? How many men get to live, like get another chance, like respawn, right? It's like a game. You get to
Yeah.
respawn.
Well, didn't you feel, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate
Okay.
for the brothers. I'm serious. So
Yeah.
you were in your 30s. Many guys are listening to this. They're going like, but bro, like you're older. Like, I
Ah,
mean,
okay.
you
That
guys
comes
maybe
to,
those
yeah.
of you watching this will see and be like, he's Asian, so Asian don't raisin, so he does not look his age. But didn't you feel older? Didn't you feel like it'll take a long time to like find another woman? Didn't you have any of these concerns?
I did, but I believed in myself.
Okay.
I just believed that I could make it all back. I believe that like there's so many billions of women. How can I not find another good one? It's impossible. Like, and I started scrolling on where I could go now because I'm a free man. Like, there's nothing tying me down. So, I could see like all these different places that when I was in a relationship, she wouldn't allow me to go. So one of them was India. So I was like, man, like now I can visit India, I can visit South America, I can visit all these places where like I would have to discuss with her first.
Yeah.
So I just like slowly built up that list of where I wanted to go, what I wanted to try. And then before you know it, I was like, man, like this is a blessing. Like I've just respawned.
That's awesome. So it sounds to me like you you didn't have any limitations. It seems like it was so freeing for you, and your self-image was one of I get I get to have a second life,
Mhm.
basically. Like I get to
Yeah.
go to all the places I couldn't. I get to experience all of these things. Okay. So what did you do next?
I called my buddy and I asked, where's beautiful jungle and beautiful women? Yeah, and he's like Costa Rica. I was like, okay, direct flight there. So it started from Costa Rica. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And what was dating like? So you've been in a relationship for 5 years, and I know you were a
Mm,
good boy.
yeah.
So how do you go from that to, I know you, I'm assuming, but just I know you've dated over the years, you've dated multiple beautiful women from like all over the
Mhm,
world, and you
mhm,
guys should visit Han's Facebook page or his Instagram. I'm not saying like we're not big on like materialism here. Intimacy comes before everything in dating for us, but we're men, right? And I'm not saying go look at porn. I'm also saying that we're men and we appreciate beautiful women. We appreciate beautiful things. We appreciate strength and masculine things. And so I look at Han's stuff and I'm like, man, this guy's living life. Like he's got beautiful women around him. He's making money. He's working on his body. He's traveling the world. And it's very inspiring to see. So you guys should go check out his stuff to be inspired. But my big question is, how do you go from being married for 5 years to like out there dating beautiful Latinas?
There was a dip, of course. There was a lot of relearning of the modern dating culture,
Yeah.
relearning of female behavior, which I had no clue about until, JK came along and shared with me the true dynamics of male and female interdynamics.
Yeah.
So I'm just like a lot of our clients. Like I'm a huge nerd, right? I'm goofy, I'm quirky, I'm nerdy. I love building model planes, tanks, helicopters. I love Star Wars. I'm just
Okay.
like the boys, right?
Yeah.
And I always thought that I had to be super interesting. I had to be ripped, a tall guy. I was, even coming out, because I've been in long-term back-to-back relationships, I was still nervous. I was still nervous
Mm.
talking to tens and beautiful women, right?
Or what was one of your, what was one of your, you gotta tell us a story of one of your most embarrassing getting back into the game moments.
I met this baddie at a
Okay.
charity event, and it was so obvious she was into me. Like she was just all over me.
Yeah.
Did not progress. I just held my distance and I invited her out to dinner, and I kept it so friendly. I was people pleasing. I was doing all this nice guy BS. It was just so cringe. And then I invited her to the forest, and we walked for like 3 hours talking about the most nice guy. Of course, we can have nice conversations, but it didn't escalate to anything. And it was just looking back, I was just like so embarrassed, so cringe.
What's the lesson you learned from that?
The lesson I learned is I was holding myself back a lot in terms of being more intimate, being more physical, and just I think through my dates, I think I realized like you don't have to be everyone's cup of tea. And females operate differently, right? So, they're lovely human beings, but a lot of what they do is based on their natural instinct to survive and to find the fittest dude, the fittest male to look after them. So I learned to be a lot more outcome independent. Yeah.
Interesting. So you learned not to be personally impacted by dates that didn't go that way. But for this specific date, was there anything direct you learned about yourself that you should have done?
I was way too timid, way too nice guy, way too. What I should have done was like hold a hand, um, be more of a leader. Oh man, too many. Like
Yeah.
I had to
Andrew and
delete.
I, Andrew's our dating coach. He and I call it, we were having a conversation. We call it killer instincts.
Hmm.
You know, knowing the exact moment when you should hold her hand, when you should say, let's get out of here.
Hmm.
When you should say, grab her and kiss her, or when you
Hmm.
should say, whatever gamey thing you're doing. Like I remember when I was single, my favorite when I would go to a bar was once I've been talking to a woman and I'd established rapport, I would look at her, hold her hand, or I'd give her a kiss, and I'd say, "So do you want to be my girl tonight?" And we're just in a club. She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Yeah, just be my girl tonight. Like while we're here, have a good time." She's like, "Okay, I'll be your girl tonight." And it was just like a fun, playful thing. But you could only catch that at the end of a kiss or an intimate
Hmm.
moment,
Yeah.
like in a club. But then it established a frame of both of you being together. So she could leave with her friends or whatever. But in her head, that anchor was still planted there. And that was a big one for me. Like, I was like, oh, if I hesitate when I feel that pressure or uncertainty when I'm intimate with a woman, then I'm gonna go back into my old ways. And you
Mhm.
grow each time you pull the trigger and implement killer instinct. It sounds like that was something that you were still learning back then.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, this happened yesterday.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm sure you've had a lot of experiences with this. I want to kind of like, just for the sake of time, just switch gears and talk a little bit about just you as a man, right? There's so many things we could talk about, but I chose to speak specifically on your transformation through dating.
Hmm.
But as a man, like now that you've got this new lease on life, you're traveling, you have freedom, you're dating, there are many other things happening in your life. What would you say are just like some of the values that you've had since, leaving pornography behind, finding this new life? What are the things that Han values in this season of his life, this new self image?
Mm, I think right at the top is being present. Because, if you're not present when you're with the person in front of you, it's very hard to have a great deep conversation.
Mm,
Instead, like your mind could be like, thinking about what she's like in bed and all that, but just being present is super important. For me in this season of my life is treating every moment spent with everyone as sacred.
mm,
Um, and also coming from a place of love,
mm-hmm.
uh, and just having that abundance.
How do
Yeah.
you mean abundance? There's a reason abundance kind of like
Yeah.
showed up there as a value, right? Is there a part of your life or a place in your life that you've not been allowing abundance into, or
Mm.
um,
So I think, well, for myself, sometimes
yeah.
when you come across a baddie, you just like lurch on and think as if this moment will never come again. And
Ah.
then thinking from abundance that, okay, like there's plenty of baddies out there, right? There's plenty. You don't have to latch on. You don't have to be needy. You don't have to break your own rules,
Mm,
right? Just hold on to your values, stick to what you believe is right or wrong, and everything will work out.
mm. I think this is so interesting. It sounds to me, Han, that, and I think this is so valuable to what we're doing here. I think it sounds like a lot of your personal growth came through the crucible of dating, like
Mm.
both the trauma of ending a
Mm.
long-term relationship and the renewal of learning your values as a man, growing as a man. And I'm assuming like a lot of these places you travel to, it's like women showing you around, you're exploring new countries, you're meeting
Mhm.
women, you're dating them.
Mm.
It sounds like a lot of your growth has come from women. Would that be fair to say? Like your experiences with women and finding yourself as a man through that. And the reason I want to bring that up is because I don't get to talk about that much on the podcast because I've been in a relationship for, well, as long as I've been doing this, right?
Mm.
But I would be lying if I didn't say that a big part of who I became as a man was not through like, not just through business or other life experiences, but it was really through learning how to relate to women, like learning how to deal with pain of rejection,
Mm.
my insecurities, how different women were. So, can you speak a little bit to the transformation that happened to you as a man? Just like Han is Han because of what does that have to do with women?
Mm. Funny enough, like every date, every encounter, I've learned something,
Hmm.
whether it's good or bad. and even from, you get feedback from them, right? And they'll share things you've never noticed about yourself as well. Um,
So, one quick note, the feedback you're getting, I'm assuming, is after sex.
yeah, you can
Okay.
say that,
No, I don't want,
yes.
I just so most guys know, I just like this is maybe some game stuff, but most guys are like, I just wanted to make it clear to the listeners, the best time to get honest feedback from a woman is after you've been sexually intimate with her and you're in bed. You want to just turn and jokingly, or in whichever way, just like, so when did you know that you were going to sleep with me? And you will get, you know, that he's laughing. You know exactly how that works. And if you're in game, if you're learning, you will do that on every single date and gather the data because that's the only time you can do it when it doesn't seem like you're fishing for a compliment.
That's
Right. So
true.
that,
That's true. Like
yeah.
I'll ask like, what were your first impressions?
Okay.
What did you like about this or that? And they'll give honest feedback. So like you learn a lot. Like just I don't know how to explain. Just every encounter, you will learn something about yourself. And you can't learn that from books. You can't learn that from porn. You can't learn that from your parents. Like your father will probably try to teach you some form of game, but it's not going to be the same as you experiencing first person shooter game. Like
Dude,
it's
this
your life.
is so good, man. I gotta, let's pause here for a moment. You're saying that the feedback you're going to get from women, that is the opposite sex,
Yeah.
the gender that is put here on this planet with us, for us to grow with, live with, love, and do this life thing together. I really want to emphasize this because I think pornography has perverted this ability to be present with women and to learn, right? And also as
Mm,
men in society, society has always tried to control women, right? But there are
mm,
so many lessons that you can learn from women. And even today we have guys who are listening to this podcast going like, "Wow, you guys are really talking about premarital sex and casual
mm,
sex." And I want you guys to take a moment, those of you who are listening, and maybe you feel some conflict with your values coming up, that myself, Han, many of the men in our program, we do believe that women are beautiful creatures. Many of us do owe our reboots to our relationship with women. I truly do not believe that you can go through the reboot process just as a man in a community without
mm,
having some sort of lessons and feedback from women that will take you all the way through your maintenance stage. But what you just said, that the feedback that these women are giving you is not something you can get from porn, from your family. Your dad can't give it to you. Can you share one or two of the maybe eye-opening or affirming things that a woman shared with you after intimacy that you were just like, whoa, I didn't know I was like, for me, I would remember like a years ago, a woman said, she's like, I just saw you and just your presence. With your presence, I just knew that I was gonna be with you. And I was like, huh? See, I never got this message. Like I
mm,
was a guy who just
mm,
jerked off to porn. And I didn't think a woman would see me as a guy who walked into a room and in an instant she was like, I'm going to have sex with that man if he asks. That was mind
mm.
blowing to me. Like, but what are some of the things you've heard that was so affirming to you, or maybe surprising?
The most surprising was when I look at them, I'm very respectful because it turns out most of the men they go on dates with is they're always constantly looking at their chest. Yeah, I
Wow.
was like, interesting. Like they would tell me like they're looking everywhere except my eyes. When I'm talking to them, they're looking everywhere except my eyes. But you happen to just keep looking and paying attention to my eyes.
That's
And I,
crazy. So you do just the rebooter thing of being present and not
yeah,
objectifying her.
correct. And she could
Wow.
see the respect through my eyes. Like I was just seeing her as a woman, not a object.
And she found this as something very attractive.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, I could go home with this guy because he respects.
Wow, that's nuts. Guys, are
Yeah.
y'all hearing this? Like literally in today's world where everything is so sexualized, a woman, and I tell men all the time, women are very intuitive. They are making
Mm,
decisions. They already know whether they're going to have sex with you or not in a very short period of time. And Han is saying that literally being a man who is not objectifying, who's showing a woman respect, who's looking her in the eye, who's present, she's making the decision that you are a good mate based
Mm.
on that. Like it doesn't make you a nice guy. That's
She's
crazy. What
safe.
else?
Safe.
Sorry,
She
go
felt
ahead.
safe.
Safe.
She felt safe. And the other one was attention to detail. Like I just pick up on every little thing they say and expand on that. And I think I hear a lot of guys, our clients, have trouble with that. They're not
Mm,
present, they're not listening. So it's very hard for them to continue a conversation and then get very nervous within.
mm.
But lately, this might go off a little tangent. I'm hearing a
Yeah.
lot of the people I go on dates with, like they're talking about, people, their ex-boyfriends having sex addiction or problems with porn.
Mm,
They will accidentally see their browser open with porn on it, or
yeah.
their erectile dysfunction. It's a huge problem. They're telling
Crazy.
me this stuff. They're only telling me this stuff because I'm telling them what my work is about.
Yeah.
But they tell me that they've never shared this with anyone else.
Wow. How common? I know you date a lot of women because you're
Yeah,
you're a bachelor,
yeah,
traveling the world, but how common is this? Is this like I'm gonna take a guess. I'm in a relationship, but I'm gonna guess that this is like almost every woman.
yeah, pretty much. Like they will have one form of a story about erectile dysfunction, porn, or something sexual related that the ex went through.
That is insane. Well, I mean, I'm saying it's insane, but the truth is that it's not insane. We know that. I just
Mm,
think it's so like crazy because I feel we live in this like I don't would call it a shadow world. Like it's
mm,
not, it's mainstream and people know porn is a problem, but because we're so close to it, and it must be interesting for you working with men, coaching men, supporting them through making the decision, and then dating, and then in your personal life, hearing women say
mm.
that. That is, and I also
Yeah.
think that's very unique. The reason why I want to say it's unique, and I want to take a moment to point it out to you, man, is because there are a lot of quote unquote porn addiction recovery coaches out there. I
Mm,
would say we are the only company out there where we have coaches who are married. We have like
mm,
Milan is married, just had a kid. Dr. Rankin has like grown kids and stuff, but we have coaches who are out there actually actively dating, who know how to date women. And so I think we come with something extra in that we don't have coaches who are like giving you advice on your life or your relationship. And they're like, no, I've been in a relationship for like, I'm a married Christian man who's been in a relationship for 30 years, but I'm going to give you relationship advice. I truly
mm,
believe that you need to hear from men who are, as the Christians say, out in the world, not in a sinful way, but who are actually interacting with today's women. This is
mm.
very important because then you get the
Today's
full
women.
picture.
Today's women. That's the key.
Yeah, today's women, not the woman that they met in 2008 and got
Hmm.
married to. Because
Yeah.
that advice that you're going to get from people, I hear it too often. Like, oh, well, I'm speaking to a coach, and nothing wrong. Coach may be a great coach, but he's giving you advice on how to find a wife and to settle down, which
Mm,
I'm not saying we want. I've been again. I want to make it clear. I've been in Han's shoes, even though that was at a different time. But I've also been in a relationship going on 17 years, still in that relationship, and I still tell guys it is critical in today's world more than it was for me 16 years ago to understand how to date women, speak to them, communicate with them, and do so in a world that is pornified, that is highly sexualized.
mm,
Would you say, Han, I believe this, but would you say that it is even an advantage to have control over your sexual behavior, aware of the dangers of pornography, and just be in awareness of what's happening? Would you say that that has given you an edge in your dating in any way? Like the work that you've done here as a
mm,
rebooted man, how has that
mm.
helped you in dating?
Being able to accept and process the rejection.
Wow,
Because
I didn't
it's
expect that answer. How
very
how
easy to
how?
just very easy to just go to watch porn, massage parlors. Like it's so easy to transact transactionally process these emotions now.
Mm.
So being able to process emotions, I think that's very key.
Okay. So how do you process a rejection? Let's say you're, I don't know, you're on the street or you're out in the
Mhm.
evening. You see a baddie, as you call them, a Latina. You approach her with your suave Australian accent and your bad Spanish, and she just like looks at you, smirks, and goes like, no, walks away. How do you process your rejections?
Just put on a smile and continue on with the night. Like it's not even like it just like water
Oh,
off your
now it just drips off you that you don't
yeah.
even internalize it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're next level. You're next level. No, I think, guys, those of you who are listening, here's what I would have given a lot to have. It's crazy to be on this side of it.
Mm,
There's a time in my early 20s, Han, I was searching for guys who had game. So
mm,
I was like maybe 21, 22. I'd literally be on campus, I'd be in the club, and if I saw a guy who was like talking to girls and stuff like that, I would just want to be his friend. Because in my
mm,
head, I was just like, oh, maybe I could be his wingman and learn game from him. And it progressed to the point where I worked with Mark Manson, all the pickup artists, went to all the boot camps, went through that process, did the whole unhealthy thing, came out of it, had to deal with my porn addiction, a little bit of like acting out physically, and
mm,
then coming full circle and then teaching men how to do all those things while ending their behavior. To sit with you here is very refreshing because it takes me back. And I
mm.
think any of you, I don't care whether you're in your 40s, I don't care whether you are in your 30s. I think, Han, how old are you now? 37, 36,
Yep, 37.
37. Han is like at the perfect middle ground where he can relate to guys who are in their 20s. Dude, you're in such a sweet
Mm-hmm.
spot in the dating too. You could just like you can just date them all, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's in that perfect sweet spot where he can relate to you, whether you're in your 40s or 50s, or whether you're in your 20s or your early 30s. And I would highly recommend, and this is not a pitch, I genuinely mean it, to talk to somebody like this. And y'all can hear his voice. He's a very calm guy about your dating and maybe what you should do in the situation that you're in. He's the
Mm.
perfect person to talk to. We're out of town at time. I actually have to hop on a call with GT in a minute, man. But what's next for Han? I know you didn't see that one coming, huh? What's No, I mean it. I know you're still apart. Like I want guys to actually know a little bit about Han. Like what's next for you? We were talking about your franchise stuff. You're an international man. You're like all the way
Mm,
you now have connections in South America,
mm,
Southeast Asia. We actually had a wonderful meal in Malaysia earlier this year. He flew over from Singapore because he's a baller. He just jumped over to meet me for one night and then he left again. Had a great dinner. I actually went back to that spot again, dude. Yeah, I went back again because I was just like it was
mm.
rushed that evening. So I went back
Yeah.
again with some friends and we saw the view and everything. It's a great place. And I stole a Rob report.
Mm.
This time. And then you've got a home and family in Australia, right? And I know that you're in leadership here at Elevated Recovery, but you do a lot of things. Tell us a few things in business and in life that you're looking forward to for the rest of 2025 and 26 as we wrap this up, so guys can know a little bit
Yeah.
about you.
One of them would be expanding the family franchise across Southeast Asia.
Okay, is there a
Uh,
name to it? I never asked earlier on.
the family restaurant name,
Yeah,
that's called Ma Brown. Ma Brown.
spell.
M.A. Brown. Ma Brown.
Ma Brown. Okay,
Yeah.
so Han's a chef and he has a family restaurant that has been around for what, 30 years?
Since World War II.
Damn, since World War II. And you're
Yeah.
the last, you're the heir to the Ma
Uh,
Brown
yeah.
empire, so to
Yeah.
speak.
The most capable. The most
The most
capable.
capable heir to the Ma Brown empire. So you're franchising,
Yeah.
hopefully across Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
What else?
In terms of relationship, I'm probably, I don't know about settling, but reaching for high quality,
What's
high
high quality
echelon,
to Han?
like models. What else?
I mean, oh, dude, all the girls you date are models, man. Come on, like, there's got to be more
Yeah.
to them than just the high quality. We see your pictures. Every girl is like not to be crude, but she's like a 9 or a 10, as the guys say. Very beautiful women physically. I'll phrase it a different way. What's the ideal woman for Han,
Mm,
knowing the direction that you're likely headed in life? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you're already doing well. You're headed towards wealth. You're like a high performer, right?
Mm,
You're probably always going to be international. You
hmm
love to explore the world and see different things. You're a foodie. So what's the ideal woman for you? I know this may not be perfect and you're figuring it out, but I
Yeah.
actually want to hear.
Some of that's spiritual. I think that's very important. That's become quite important for
Spiritual.
me. Yeah,
Okay.
spiritual, well-traveled, well-cultured, works on herself mentally, physically, and funny. That's very important for me. Funny. It's
Have
hard to
you
find
met
a funny
funny women
woman.
while you're dating that crack you up? I don't know, man. Like, I don't, my girl's funny sometimes, but sometimes she tries to be funny. I'm like, I don't know.
They're
How come
rare,
this
to
can
be
make me
honest. A funny one is rare.
Yeah, yeah. So funny. Okay, well, that's rare. That's something to
Yeah.
look for.
hmm But yeah, I don't ask for much. I'm very simple. So those are my requirements. Yeah.
Okay. Now that's good to know. If this was a dating show and there were women listening to this, I'd be like, well, send in a message to Han, but it's not. So I'm just curious there. Well, to end things, Han, really appreciate your time, and it's really good catching up like this. I got to find out some things about you, and hopefully the brothers listening. I know many of them know you, are fans of you. Han has spoken to Jesus Christ, I don't know, over 10,000 men. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of guys know Han, expert in his own right in this field, and very glad to have you with us. What are some last words you can leave the men with in terms of maybe their dating life, their future, getting a new lease on life? What's the advice you would leave them with?
Time's running out, man. You're not going to be young forever, and you better quickly learn the skills now, or you're gonna fall behind in your dating. It's very key.
Yeah,
What else? And it's not as scary as you think
yeah,
if you don't know the skills. It is
yeah,
going to be very brutal if you don't know the skills and understand female nature. But once you
yeah.
understand it, it's like seeing the matrix. Yeah.
This is like the third time that you've mentioned like female nature, and I'll have to agree with you. I would say the skill set is important, but I think understanding how women as human creatures differ from us in
Mm,
the way they think, the way they see the world, and the way they process things, not only will that change the way you view sexuality, because I think many of us have objectified women for so long, we just see them as, oh, there's a beautiful woman and her body is a certain way. And that literally, that's it. She moans in a certain way, she looks a certain way. But there's so much more richness to the quality of a woman and her emotions and how she responds and reacts. And I think that's a beautiful thing to learn too. You know, when you go through the dating process and you start going, oh, I can tell what kind of woman she is. Oh, this one. And then you can start cold reading women even. And it's like,
mm.
oh, I can guess how mad you get when this happens. And they're like, oh my God, how do you know? That's crazy. That's crazy.
And
So,
you'll be less frustrated with your dating life. Like I
yeah,
remember when I didn't understand what goes through the head and reading in between the lines, I'd get frustrated. I'm like, is it me? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, you just you become a lot more calmer
yeah.
and love them for who they are. Yeah.
So good, man. I love it. I think I'll use that to segue into not just having a conversation with Han, but we have the program with Andrew, coincidentally, is called the Confidence and Connection Program. So it's not a like pickup program, it's a program on how to develop your confidence as a man, the way that Han has. And I'll be honest with you, confidence as men is something that is earned from the things you've done in life. You need courage to develop confidence. And so I'm not going to lie to you and go like, "Oh, you're going to magically take a pill and become confident." No, but you're going to be around men who are doing courageous things. And connection, I would say, is everything that Han has actually, I got to say, embodied here, right? I think you can tell from the way Han speaks, expresses himself, is vulnerable, that he has mastered or is on the way to mastery of deep connection, which comes from a place of presence. And I know this may not be something that you ever expected to hear, but we do things differently at Elevated Recovery. Everything does come from presence, compassion, being able to be in yourself. So, Han, thank you very much for being present. I was actually very tired, and we had a long conversation before this, but I think this was a lot more enjoyable because we were present in this moment. So there's so much energy that comes from it, right? Yeah. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, and you guys can speak to Han whenever. I'll drop some links at the bottom of the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you.